The wind does not forgive. It carves its way through the cracks in the world, a relentless whisper against the skin. Today is January 11th, 2026, and the air bites with the memory of 1,000 winters past. We feel it in the stillness of a frozen landscape. Each tree stands alone, a stark silhouette against a sky the color of slate. The cold is more than a temperature. It is a presence. It seeps into the bones and settles in the heart. A quiet weight that reminds us of solitude. Shadows stretch long and thin across the snow, like fingers reaching for something they can never hold. In this profound quiet, the world holds its breath. You can see your own life in the pale cloud that escapes your lips, a fleeting warmth that vanishes into the vast, indifferent air. The silence is broken only by the crunch of boots on hardened snow, a solitary journey through a world asleep. Each step is a small act of defiance. The world seems empty, stripped down to its essential elements: the earth, the sky, the cold that binds them. It is in these moments of stark isolation that everything non-essential is frozen away. We are forced to confront the most fundamental questions of our existence. This feeling is not unique to a winter day. It is a winter of the soul, a state of being many have known throughout history. It is the feeling of being trapped, of seeing no path forward, of believing that the darkness is all there is. The horizon disappears into a thick fog, blurring the line between what is real and what is feared. We look out a window and see only our own reflection in rain-streaked glass, a prisoner in a room of our own making. The human spirit is tested. The will to continue is pushed to its absolute limit. Every instinct screams for surrender to the encroaching cold. But even in the deepest winter, a different story can begin. There once was a man who knew this winter intimately. His name was Viktor Frankl. Born in Vienna in 1905, he became a doctor, a psychiatrist who listened to the silent sorrows of others. He did not see people as broken machines that needed fixing. He saw them as souls searching for a reason to live. He believed the primary drive in humans was not pleasure or power, but the search for meaning. This idea became the foundation of his life's work. A new school of thought he called logotherapy. The word logos is Greek for meaning. Logotherapy is healing through meaning. It was a radical idea in its time. Frankl's work grew in the quiet world of his Vienna practice. He listened to patients who felt their lives were empty. Patients who felt a profound void despite comfort and security. He called this the existential vacuum, the root of much modern despair. He argued a person could endure almost any hardship if they had a why to live for. This was not just theory in an office. It was a principle he would be forced to test in the most brutal laboratory imaginable, a place where survival seemed statistically impossible. With the rise of the Nazi regime, Frankl, being Jewish, faced a terrible choice. He had a visa to escape to America. A life of safety and professional success awaited. But his elderly parents could not go with him. He chose to stay. In 1942, he was arrested and deported. His wife was arrested and deported. His parents were arrested and deported. He was sent to a series of concentration camps, including Auschwitz. Here, in the heart of darkness, everything was taken from him. His family, his profession, his identity, even his name. He became only a number. The winter he had theorized about became chilling reality. In the depths of that suffering, stripped of everything, Frankl began to observe. He watched who survived and who did not. It was not always the strongest or the healthiest. Often it was those who held on to a reason to live. As he later wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." This single powerful observation, forged in unimaginable pain, became the central pillar of his message, a testament to the power of the human spirit. We see a close-up of a prisoner's hands, cracked and stained with dirt, as they carefully break a small, stale piece of bread in two. He gives the larger half to another man, a man who looks weaker, closer to giving up. Their eyes meet for just a moment. There are no words. There is only the simple, silent act of giving when you have almost nothing left to give. This is not just kindness. It is an act of rebellion. This small gesture, almost invisible in the vast machinery of the camp, creates a universe of meaning. For the man who gives, it is a declaration that he is still a man, not just a number. He is someone who can make a choice, who can act out of compassion and not just instinct. For the man who receives, it is a lifeline. It is a reminder that humanity has not been completely extinguished, that even in this hell, a spark of connection remains. The bread nourishes the body for a moment, but the act itself nourishes the soul for much longer. It provides a reason to endure another hour, another day. Viktor Frankl saw these moments everywhere. He saw men comforting others, sharing their last crumbs of food, whispering a word of encouragement. He saw a man who found his reason to live in the thought of his wife, waiting for him somewhere in the world. He would have long, detailed conversations with her in his mind, finding strength in his love. Frankl himself found his own reason to endure. He imagined himself in the future, standing in a warm, well-lit lecture hall, teaching students about the psychology of the concentration camp. This mental image became his purpose. This is the turning point. It is the discovery that even when all external freedoms are gone, the inner freedom to choose one's response remains. You cannot choose your circumstances, but you can always choose your attitude. You can choose what to think about. You can choose to find meaning in your love for another person, in a future goal, or even in the brave and dignified way you face your suffering. This choice is the most powerful tool for survival. It transforms a person from a passive victim of fate into an active agent of their own inner life. Imagine a world reduced to gray. The sky is a ceiling of endless fog, pressing down on damp earth. The air is thick with the smell of wet coal and despair. Barbed wire fences stretch to the horizon. Close up on barbed wire, droplets catching the mist. The only sound is the wind, a low moan across the ground. Your breath hangs in the air before you, frozen mud and barren ground. Survival is a moment-to-moment struggle. The body aches with a hunger beyond food, a hunger for dignity, a hunger for warmth, a hunger for a single, simple human kindness. Every day is the same. Morning roll call in the biting cold, endless hours of forced labor, the gnawing emptiness of the stomach. The mind begins to numb itself as a defense. Hope becomes a dangerous luxury. To feel too much is to risk breaking. The world shrinks to your next ration of bread, to your next breath, to the space between heartbeats. Human connections are torn away. Faces become gaunt, hollow-eyed masks. Not a father, not a doctor, not a musician, a prisoner, a number, a body tasked with work until it fails. The loss of the very idea of a future. The past becomes someone else's dream. The present, an unending purgatory. To look forward is to see only more of the same, gray days stretching into nothingness. This is the ultimate test of the human spirit. In this environment of total degradation, the mind can turn inward. It can retreat into apathy, giving up the fight. Or it can do something remarkable. It can find a different kind of freedom. The music swells slightly, with violins joining the lone cello, creating a feeling of dawning hope. The music swells slightly, with violins joining the lone cello, creating a feeling of dawning hope. This is the core of the Viktor Frankl doctrine. It is the idea that meaning is not something you find, like a lost object. It is something you create. It is something you build, moment by moment. It is forged in the fires of our decisions. This meaning can come from three primary sources. First, it can come from creating a work. First, it can come from doing a deed. For Frankl, this was the goal of writing his book. For Frankl, this was the goal of teaching his theories. It was a task waiting for him in the future, a purpose that pulled him forward through the darkest days. Second, meaning can be found in experiencing something. Second, meaning can be found in encountering someone. This is the meaning found in love. The idea that a sense of purpose is critical to survival is not just a philosophical one. It has been observed and documented. Archival records from the camps, as well as subsequent psychological studies, have shown a clear correlation between having a reason to live and the chances of survival. Those who lost hope, who could see no future and no meaning, were often the first to succumb. They would often refuse to get up in the morning, turn their face to the wall, and simply give up. This condition was known in the camps as give-up-itis, a psychological state where the will to live is extinguished, leading to a rapid physical decline. Frankl's work provided a powerful framework for understanding this phenomenon. He explained that a human being is not a closed system. Our existence is always directed towards someone or something other than ourselves, be it a person to love, a cause to serve, or a meaning to fulfill. When that connection is severed, when a person feels their life has no larger point, they enter a state of crisis. Logotherapy aims to help people rediscover or create that connection. It is about widening the lens, helping a person see beyond their immediate pain to a future goal or a lasting value that makes the present struggle worthwhile. The power of this idea extends far beyond extreme situations. In our daily lives, a lack of meaning can lead to depression, anxiety, and a feeling of emptiness, even amidst material wealth. Studies in modern psychology have validated Frankl's central claims. Research has shown that people who report a high sense of purpose in their lives tend to be more resilient to stress, have better physical health, and even live longer. A sense of purpose acts as a psychological immune system, protecting us from the inevitable hardships and disappointments of life. This is a simple but profound truth. Having a why provides the strength to bear almost any how. It does not remove the pain, but it changes our relationship to it. The pain is no longer just a random, cruel affliction. It becomes part of a larger story, a necessary step on the path toward a meaningful goal. The orchestral music begins to swell now, becoming fuller and more epic, yet maintaining a calm and resolute tone. The long winter is not over, but the will to move through it has been found. The journey is no longer one of mere survival, but of purpose. This is the legacy of Viktor Frankl's Doctrine. It is a message of profound hope, born from the deepest despair. It teaches us that resilience is not the absence of suffering, but the ability to find meaning within it. It is a quiet strength, a stubborn refusal to be defined by our circumstances. It is the understanding that our lives are not determined by what happens to us, but by how we respond. This is a truth that applies to every human life, in every time and every place. The music reaches its crescendo, a powerful but serene orchestral theme that speaks of triumph over adversity. The imagery shifts to a wider perspective. The cold remains, but it is no longer threatening. It is simply part of the landscape, a backdrop for the quiet beauty of the emerging day. The journey has been long and difficult, but it has led here, to a place of peace and perspective. Viktor Frankl survived the camps. He was liberated in 1945. His parents, his brother, his wife did not survive. He returned to Vienna with nothing but the clothes on his back, and the manuscript for his book, which he had secretly written and hidden. He went on to rebuild his life, to remarry, to have a daughter, and to become one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century. His book, Man's Search for Meaning, has sold millions of copies and has been translated into dozens of languages. His story is a testament to his own philosophy. His life demonstrates that finding meaning is not a one-time event, but a continuous process. It is a choice we make every day. It is the choice to focus on what we can control, our attitude, our actions, our love, rather than on what we cannot. It is the choice to see every challenge as an opportunity for growth, every moment of suffering as a chance to demonstrate the strength of the human spirit. This is not about being happy all the time. It is about living a life that is rich with purpose, even when it is also filled with pain. The echo of Frankl's voice continues to resonate today, a quiet and powerful reminder for a world that often feels chaotic and meaningless. It calls to us from across the decades, from the depths of a history we must never forget. It tells us that our primary task in life is not to seek pleasure or avoid pain, but to find a reason for our existence. It assures us that this reason can be found everywhere, in the grandest of loves and the smallest of acts, in our greatest achievements and our most dignified struggles. As the final notes of the orchestra fade into a profound, resonant silence, we are left with a single clear thought.